Did you know that Israel's Olympic team is made up almost entirely of Israeli soldiers? You cannot even join the team without having been in the army first. But that's not the half of it. During the last months, Israeli Olympic athletes have done things like signing bombs that were about to be dropped on Gaza, or dedicating their medals to the IDF, saying how they're thinking of the soldiers and praising them and calling them heroes as they are dropping bombs on Gaza. The men's judo team even went on a field trip to an Israeli Air Force base. The women's judo team also visited an Israeli army base. One Israeli athlete posted a video of the IDF raising an Israeli flag on Gaza Beach after invading it, with the caption, "Salute your heroes." Another uploaded this illustration of Gaza being destroyed. Israeli Olympic athletes have constantly said how proud they are of being in the IDF and proud to represent Israel during this moment, implying they endorse what it's doing in Gaza. You see, this is more than just mandatory military service, okay? These athletes are proud to be in the Israeli Defense Forces. They openly mix sports with politics and even pose with the Israeli army as it decimates Gaza and stands accused of genocide in the World Court. This is tacit endorsement of genocide and occupation. There's so much of this incriminating evidence, I don't even have time to put all of it in this video. Several Israeli national sports teams are based at a facility, the Wingate facility, that also serves as an IDF base for fitness training. That shows you how much sports and the military are one and the same. The Israeli army even publishes videos like this, explicitly mixing Olympic athleticism with Israeli military service, as if, they're indistinguishable from one another. Even though they don't compete in the Olympics, Israeli football clubs are bound to the Olympic Charter. And yet they give the Israeli army free merchandise and then share photos of the IDF wearing that merchandise while they're in tanks and bulldozers decimating Gaza. They even organize fundraisers and receptions for the IDF. The club's football players will go and visit wounded Israeli soldiers and post obituaries for those killed. One player said, "Erase Gaza." Another said, "Why haven't 200 tons of bombs already been dropped on Gaza?" And what does the Israeli Football Association do to reprimand them? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It condones this behavior in violation of the Olympic Charter and FIFA's own statutes. The Palestinians tried to raise these issues at FIFA Congress, but were blocked by FIFA twice. The head of the Israeli army apparently worked around the clock to torpedo these efforts. So I guess it's no wonder that the Israelis consider Infantino, the FIFA president, and the president of UEFA as friends. Now, when the Russians were banned from the Olympics, they were told they could only compete under a neutral flag and were not allowed to be in the army or support the war in Ukraine. But when Israel is decimating Gaza, this condition doesn't apply for some reason, even though the whole damn team are in the army and are posting pro-genocide things. Remember, South Africa couldn't participate in the Olympics for decades because of apartheid. Well, guess what? The ICJ recently ruled that Israel has a system of apartheid in place against Palestinians, and yet the Olympic Committee takes no action. The double standard here couldn't be clearer. Russia, South Africa, Belarus are held to one standard and Israel to another entirely. Israeli soldiers are openly violating the political neutrality of sports. They violate the peace mission of the Olympics, and the Olympic Committee has failed in its role not only to sanction them and reprimand them, but to protect Palestinian Olympic athletes, Palestinian footballers, their sports facilities from Israeli bombs. They've done nothing about the illegal Israeli clubs in the West Bank either, or Israeli officials openly threatening Palestinian sports officials with prison if they open their mouths.